Hello and welcome to the morning podcast. This is your host, Mecca33, along with Ramon, as usual. What up, nephew?
Yo. What's the word?
Not much, man. Yo, you know what I was doing this weekend, man?
What you was doing, man?
Man, I checked out Selena. Yeah, I know what you can. I know what you can think. I know what you can think, man. But it's Selena, Holmes. You can't go wrong with Selena. But here's the thing that interested me the most about this whole show. It wasn't the fact that it was Selena.
Mm-hmm.
In one of the episodes, the brother of Selena, who was actually the songwriter and also the bass guitarist, I guess, on the band.
Right.
There was a part in that particular show where he was talking to his dad, and I guess they had just came off their gold selling album. You know, they went gold with their album, and he's telling them, you know, he's like, okay, we went gold. Now what? What's your next album? What's the next, hustle? And like the brother was just like, when do we get to enjoy this? And it really dawned on me. I'm like, man, is that what Hollywood really is? Or is that what fame is, man? You had to work to the bone, and then eventually, somewhere down the line, you will be able to enjoy this. At what point do you start enjoying it, man? When can you enjoy it? Do you enjoy it during this process, or do you enjoy it after the process?
Oh, okay. From personal experience, because I do the music myself, and in a game, when you're in the game, it's no let up. You know what I'm saying? Because your window of opportunity in this game, you work all your life to get your opportunity. So when your opportunity does come, why sit back and relax? You understand what I'm saying? Because the window of opportunity of having your time and it being your moment is not going to last forever. It is what it is, a moment. You know what I'm saying? So while you're in it, you can't really enjoy it like you want to. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to think of, okay, while I'm hot, while it's our time, while it's my moment, I need to make sure I let them know who I am to the fullest. You know what I'm saying? Unless you don't want all that, because I know a lot of artists that was cool with one plaque, cool. They cool. They don't want to do more. But if you're a person that's been striving for this for all your life and you really been wanting this and you want longevity, when that moment comes, you can't enjoy it. You won't enjoy it.
No, I get
you know
that.
What I'm saying? You want it. You won't enjoy it because you got to keep coming consistently.
No, I get that completely. Next. But I'm just trying to figure out. I mean, but is it fun?
It becomes
work.
Is
it worth it?
It's,
you know what I'm saying? Because I know it eventually becomes work. Yeah, I get that. But is it worth it?
It depends on the person. Like I said, it depends on the person. So if you're a person that feel like all you wanted to do was get your one hit, you cool. Now, if you're a person with longevity, you're going to realize I'm not going to enjoy that one record that I just made a smash hit record because I'm going right back in the studio trying to make another smash hit record or come off another big album or make another big album. You understand what I'm saying? So you're not going to, you know what it's worth. You understand the legacy aspect beyond it, a part of it, beyond the money. You know what I'm saying? Not just the money, but the legacy. You know what I'm saying? You're creating that legacy so you can look back when your moment is over with, whenever that may be, you can sit back and say, I did that. Or, and worst come to worst, you die at the top of your at the top of your career.
You know what I'm saying? You get at the top of your career though.
But that's if it's your moment. If it's like in an instance like that, it was their moment. It was their moment in time. And just like Selena died at the top of her career. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
She was at her peak. You know what I'm saying? So just imagine if after that first record, Selena took a break and just wanted to relax, and then that same incident happened. We wouldn't have got half the music that we did get out of Selena, or even the experiences we got out of Selena. You know what I'm saying? So that's the aspect of it from looking at it as legacy. When you're in it, you're not thinking about fun and having a good time. You're thinking of the end, when it ends, when the marathon comes to an end, what can I look back and say? What have I accomplished? What have I achieved? Such as a guy like a Kobe Bryant in sports. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't. It wasn't about, okay, I won a championship. How many times you seen guys win championships and never win again? They were cool with that. They're happy with that because that makes them a legend. But
Right.
Kobe was looking, when he went into it, I'm going to keep going and going because I want to make sure I built this legacy that it's going to be remembered forever. You know what I'm saying? Forever. Not just that was just a guy that won a ring or a guy like in the music, I got one platinum record. It's look at what I did at my time when it was my moment. You know what I'm saying? Because now look at even with Kobe. Kobe didn't retire. Kobe wasn't retired for more than 5 years. So if Kobe had said after that first ring, I'm done, we wouldn't have the legacy of Kobe Bryant the way we did, because he pretty much played his whole life the sport of basketball, gave us his all, built that legacy. He didn't enjoy all those rings like he could have. He wasn't sitting back on the beach somewhere after, that year, like, okay, yeah, I'm done. This is it. No, he was like, okay, I need to train, practice for next year so I can win a ring again or go to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So now, only time he really got to enjoy that legacy was that 3 years. Or I think it was Kobe was only retired 3 years. You know what I'm saying? 3-4 years, and then he passed. He wasn't retired that long. It was 2016, I think he retired, right? 2016 it was?
About that, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so that's 4 years. You know what I'm saying? So to think of you spent your whole life playing basketball, some people would even look at Kobe's legacy and say the same thing. Was it worth it? Was it worth it all those times of not spending time with your children, your wife, do these games and playing these sports? Was it worth it?
Oh, see, here's the difference, though. The difference between Kobe, sports athlete, and say, for instance, Brad Pitt, actor, he's probably more in demand than Kobe is. You know what I'm saying? Not that Kobe was, chopped liver or anything like that. I'm just saying, as far as an actor, they're all over the place. They got to do press junkets. They got to do fly overseas to do interviews over there. That's what I'm referring to. This like the whole
but it's
constant.
It's no different. I mean, I have personal relationships with NBA players, and it's no different. They do the same thing we do. They have to do their press runs. They have to do their interviews. It's a lot of things that we don't see that the players do off the court, with like relationships with communities and stuff like that we don't see. They stay on the run just like any entertainer on the big platform. It's the same thing. Mm. It's all the same thing. It's just that with music and movies, we tend to see more of what they're doing. With the NBA, they have them involved in so many things that they're required to do, such as spend time in the communities, their centers and things like that. Things we don't see. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things that we don't see, that their time gets stretched as well. So that's why I say again, it's synonymous to like, okay, is it worth it at the end? You know what I'm saying? Is it worth it? So I think it's more of a personal question to yourself, no matter what you're doing. Is this what you want to do? Is this what do you do? Because we're all gonna die regardless. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you may do. You might eat good, you might eat healthy, you might live longer than someone else. But it's two things for sure, and it's life. You're born and you're gonna die. You know what I'm saying? So what are you gonna do with that time period when you're here? Are you gonna leave that legacy? So it's all upon you on if you want to build a legacy or if you don't. That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it.
I agree. But my question is basically, I mean, I know it's worth it. I get it. But all the back and forth, when do you get a chance to actually enjoy it all besides all the way at the end? Because half the time, if you think about it, man, you're really from the get. And if you don't retire like until you're like whatever, 70 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how much life are you actually gonna enjoy after that?
It's the curse of the gifted. It's what happens. You understand that when you use your gift. You understand that.
Right.
It's not a thing you go into it for enjoyment. You love it. You love to do it for sure. But the enjoying the successes part, it's a different type of thing. It's a different type of reward. You know what I'm saying? just the doing is enough for the ones that understands the big picture thinking of the legacy. The doing is the gratification. You know what I'm saying? To say that I can do what I love every day that I wake up. That's the gratification, not just the awards, not just the I won a championship or I had a platinum plaque. That's cool. That's great. Those are bonuses that come along with it. But the gratification is that every day I get to wake up and do what I love to do. This is what I dreamed to do when I was a child. That's where the gratification comes in.
Interesting. I don't know. I just see it as it's either a curse or a fucking burden. One of the two. I mean,
it is, no doubt. It's a burden. It's a burden. It's a curse and a burden because you have loved ones that don't understand it. And then now you're still trying like I'm trying to like what are you crazy? You just going. But it's a burden that you live with, and it's a curse you live with because many people around you will not understand. Many close people will not understand. They won't understand why. Like Kobe's wife said this a long time ago while he was still alive. She would say that she would divorce him if he didn't retire because if he wasn't winning championships. Because you're sitting here playing these long games and not home. It's not like you're poor, you need the money or anything. You're rich. But see what's not understood is he's thinking legacy. If I could just win one more ring. If I could just win 2 more rings. If I win 1 more ring, I'm up there with Mike. If I win 2, I'm above Mike. You know what I'm saying? That's the legacy, and it's eating him up. But his gratification is coming from I'm playing the game, the love of the game. I'm playing this game. Win or loss, win or lose, I played the game and I put my heart all into it. The trophies don't matter. They matter. They're a bonus. They're a bonus. I won't even say matter. They're a bonus. Those are bonus points. When you're a person that thinks into legacy or whatever you're doing, such as Selena's father, he was a guy that was thinking into legacy, the future, the next moment. That's the curse of being a forward thinker. You don't spend time in the now.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that is the burden. That's the burden and the curse of not spending the time in the now. Some people can't live with that. Many people can't live with that. That's what separates the greats from the goods to the average. You see what I'm saying? The greats understand the now is not. It's I understand the now, but now is not what's important. The important is how and what am I doing now to prepare for the future? Not enjoying the now, but preparing now for my future. You know what I'm saying? So it is. I give you what you say, like you said, a burden or a curse. I think I agree with that the most. Right. The burden or a curse thing.
I guess the real underlining aspect that I'm trying to make is like if you are actually willing to actually get into this type of field, or you want to be in that aspect, or rather that atmosphere, you want to be in that environment. Dude, you're gonna have to hustle. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. You have to be able to put in the work, or you have to want to put in the work. Be willing to put in the work. If you don't, then you're just gonna sink. You're just gonna sink, man.
Okay, perfect example is because it was the topic that I wanted to bring up today. It blends right into the next topic of what I wanted to bring in today was about financial literacy in the Black community.
I am so happy. I'm actually glad you brought that up. I'm actually, I got a few ideas, but I want you to go ahead and, bring up your point after the fact. I'll bring, I'll turn in my, or I'll give you my little idea. But I was actually thinking something similar to that, but I want you to go ahead.
Okay. So from that same aspect, all right, from the music standpoint, because, it's better for me with the music analogies. So from the music standpoint, when you're a rapper, you do your thing, Blase Skippy. We tend to, when you're early on in your career, you thinking, okay, I'm going to make this hit record so the record labels can sign me and give me a big check and all that, right?
Right.
But what we don't understand about financial literacy is equity and future earnings, monthly checks, residuals. These are things we're not taught. All we know is cash on hand, So So in the same aspect of where we were just talking about legacies, these big companies and businessmen think the same way, but just in a different field with finances. So they treat finances just like Kobe did with basketball. I'm doing this right now. I need to stay in the gym right now, so I know when I get on that court, I'm gonna be prepared for what comes in, on that court. So we want a quick check on finances. We want a quick check now. We want to get the money now. Labels look at equity. We will give you that quick check for the long term of own your records for the next 20 years and things like that. So they can get those residual incomes coming in. We just look big check right now. So what does that mean? If you put money out there in the atmosphere, 20,000, 100,000, a million, whatever that number is, you're putting it into something, right? And you're not going to get that money back right away, but over a long of 20 years of you investing that $1 million can potentially turn into $100 million. Why wouldn't you do it? It doesn't. It makes sound sense, right? Mm-hmm. If someone told you right now you can invest, you got $1 million in your account, and they tell you invest this $1 million, I guarantee you this $1 million is going to turn into $100 million. It's just going to take 20 years. Mm-hmm. You're going to say, okay, yeah, cool, because you're hearing $100 million. But now if someone gives you the option and say, look, I'm going to give you $1 million, but this is the only million you're going to see. You're not going to get nothing else after this, just $1 million.
Right.
But you get to have that $1 million right here, right now. Most people were like, fuck it, just give me the $1 million right now.
Right.
But that's most people in the black communities. They go for the now and not the long term. So right. It's like this. Over the span, that $1 million is going to make you $100 million, but it's going to be smaller checks. That means you still have a goal that you're trying to get to of amount that you want to save or amount you want to be at. You have to have a multiple other streams coming in as well. So what are you doing? What do you have to do? You can enjoy that small check. That's probably a nice check. Let's just say if it's $50,000 to $100,000 a month or whatever. You can't really enjoy that money because you're still trying to make $1 million. You want $1 million, but you don't have $1 million yet. So how can I make it to where I'm making $1 million? You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, I got to keep going into it. I got to keep working. I got to keep going. So it's going to be a time period where you're not going to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor because you're still laboring. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's the same aspect, and I feel like that's what we feel at in the black communities with financial literacy because, again, we're confused on even legacies in general. You know what I'm saying? We're confused on legacies. Like, why would you do all of this? Is it worth doing all of this? Is it? Well, okay. Now Kobe has created his legacy. Selena's dad helped create his daughter's legacy. Guess what? We're talking 20 plus years later, and we're still talking about Selena. You see what I'm saying? Even though she's gone, she's been gone. Mm-hmm. She's still here. So it's like, okay, what are you doing now? That's where the greats think different. What are you doing now that can be still relevant even after you're gone in the physical form? When your physical form is gone, what is still relevant? Same thing with financial literacy in the black community. Is we think short term of now. We want that $1 million now, but guess what? That $1 million can be blown. Or if that $1 million get passed to, let's say you pass away, then somebody, your predecessor or the person that gets that money, that you leave that money to in a will or whatever, that money's gone if they blow it. But if you set up something where they having those residuals over that next 20 years, even if you're here or not to see that 20 years going forward, your family members get to see that $100 million. You see what I'm saying? So it's about whatever you're doing now to affect the future or to help the future. So it's a bigger picture thinking. And I think that's what goes back, like you were stating about is it worth it? It's a bigger picture thinking process. Mm-hmm. And I think it's not, I'm not going to say I know it's not for everyone. Mm-hmm. It's not for everyone. Just like financial literacy, it's not going to be for everyone because everyone is not going to want to do the work. Most people in general, not even just in the black community, but most people in general as a whole, they prefer to clock in, clock out, and get a certain check. I know that if I work this 40 hours this week, I'm going to get this check, this certain amount of number check because I have a contract saying that I get paid X amount of dollars an hour. So I know if I work 40 hours a week or 80 hours a week or whatever my week schedule is, I know I'm going to get a paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
Now, being an entrepreneur and being and you don't get those same leverages. You don't get those I won't say leverages. I mean,
Opportunities.
Opportunities. Exactly. You won't have the same. You could work 100 hours a week and not see $1.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You could work 365 days out of the year and not see anything from that work of those 365 days out of that year to another 2 years from now. You see what I'm saying? But when that check comes, the difference from a guy working a 9-to-5 job and he's making $80,000 a year, but he's clocking in every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he knows guaranteed if he does what he needs to do at his job, unless it's any kind of pandemic or anything that's going on to where it's a freak accident where he loses his job,
mm-hmm.
he knows he's going to get a check. A guy that's an entrepreneur, he doesn't know, shit, if I put all this work in, and I don't even know if I'm going to really get paid from this or not. But when something does work off of your idea, the difference in pay is $80,000 a year or $300,000 of that guy working. Let's just say he's making $100,000 a year. So in 3 years, that's $300,000 he just made from working his job.
Right.
Now, the first 2 years, I seen no money from what I was just doing as an entrepreneur. But year 3, I could make one deal, and that's $1 million deal. You know what I'm saying? So I just made way more than that guy did in 1 year
mm-hmm.
than he did in 3 years. But guess what? Those last 2 years, it was nothing coming in. But it's all about literacy, financial literacy, and understanding money and having the long term and thinking the long term goal. Because same thing with investing. Investing, in a sense, is that it's an entrepreneurial spirit of you know that money is not going to come right back right now. It's not I do this, it's coming back right now.
So my question is this: so financial literacy is a good topic, because I think what we need to do as a whole, as a entire society or whatever it may take, we need to teach each other how to do things financially.
Correct.
Let's just say, for instance, like, because I was thinking about it over the weekend, and I was just like, why isn't there might be, I just may be overlooking something, but why isn't there a program that actually helps African Americans, minorities, whatever, buy a home? And actually, instead of just buying a home and that's it, just let them be whatever it is that they want to be. But before they buy that home, teach them how to be financially stable and how to financially sustain that home. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, I'm like, man, it could be a program out there where you could just buy property, and instead of selling property outside of your neighborhood, outside of the communities that we want to stay together, our black communities, our Hispanic communities, whatever,
mm-hmm.
within those communities, you want to fix them up, you want to bring them up, buy those empty lots, build on those properties, and then teach people from your community how to financially get that home and financially sustain it.
Okay.
And that thought process just like jumped into my head the other day. I'm like, why isn't this happening?
Well, go to the school systems. Go to the school system first.
Man.
You got to start with the school systems. That's where we all learn from. We learn from the first place. First place we learn from is at home. Second place we learn from is school. So with those two things, if you're at home, in majority in our minority communities, Hispanic and black communities, at home, they don't even know about financial literacy and understanding about ownership. And you know what I'm saying? We're not taught that. Many of us are not taught that at home. Then you go to the schools, the school system are not teaching that either. You know what I'm saying? They're not even teaching on how to save money, how to, how to invest money. The things, the real life things that we're going to go through day to day, They're not teaching that in the school. So before we can even get into a topic of, okay, everyone wants to say this, buy back the community. How can you buy back your community if you don't even know how to run your own community? You see what I'm saying?
No, I understand what you're saying. I think we should be able to teach them before we buy that community. You know what I'm saying? We need to actually gather together, be one another, be like, hey, this is how you do things. This is how, you got to get your credit to this point. And how you sustain that, you have to do this, this, and this. You see what I'm saying? It's like you have to teach them, give them those steps by steps.
So what are your thought processes? What do you feel like? What would be your steps to implement the teachings in the community?
Man, that's a hard one. Right now, what I could possibly think of is just going from going like us, and for instance, going into the communities, going in there, and just we're teaching the class. We're gonna show you how to do this, this, and this. And my whole thought process was like, how do we invest into this? How do we get property? We purchase property, fixed on this property, but we're selling it back to the community. But we're also showing them how to sustain that property.
Okay.
That's just my whole thought process. Right now, it's just a process. It's a thought. But
but you know what? It's a start because you're speaking on your platform. You know what I'm saying? The fact of it, I feel like the first thing is what we're doing right now is awareness. We're already kind of conscious of it, but we need to keep spreading the awareness of it to show and understand that this is a problem. You know what I'm saying? And this problem is a root to many problems.
True.
And if this problem can be solved, we can solve many problems. Not saying all, but many. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like what we're doing right now with the awareness, that's step one. Now step two is actions. You know what I'm saying? Actions of taking, like I'm gonna say this right here on the station, and while we live with it, while I won't say live, but recording this.
Live is on Saturday.
We need to do a like a reach out or touch in to kind of have a segment or something on this topic alone, and have different from young to old, and see how their views on financial literacy, what they what they feel about it, what they feel is needed. Here because we got to. It's going to take a community to do it, and it's going to take right now the community in our community right now of me and you. It's me and you right now. We're talking about it. Right. So now what we have to do is grab someone else. What do you think is the problem? Why we don't understand finances? Why we can't? So what do you think we need to learn? What we need to be teaching? The youth, and even the elders. Teach elders, because the elders need to be taught too, because a lot of them misled a lot of the youth because of not because they were trying to, but because they didn't know any better. You know what I'm saying? Also them not knowing no better. So we gotta step one step at a time. Each one teach one at a time. One at a time. You know what I'm saying? To the point, it gets to a point where the group is so big, the audience is so big that are listening, that we can all reach out to more or to bigger and be bigger and better in the communities. Like, look, this is what needs to happen. This is what needs to be done. Because all it takes is one example. So if we can take one community, maybe somewhere you're from, maybe a place that I'm from, and we can implement it in that community, and it becomes a success or even a failure, that's going to still spark ideas from others that see, wow, I didn't think of it like that at first. But even though you failed, I see what you're trying to do. And now maybe if we do it a different route, we can still get that same message out and get those teachings out. You see what I'm saying? So I think it's awareness and then action. Yeah. Awareness and action.
Correct. You know what needs to be let out? That album. Your album needs to be dropped, bro.
Oh, Speaking of which, the Energy Project?
Huh?
You said the Energy Project, you like that?
Oh, yeah. The Energy Project? That album's dope. That album's dope. But nobody's going to listen to it till this Saturday, where we're gonna have a lot. We're gonna listen to my man's album live. So if you're listening to this podcast right now, what I want you to do is tune in on Saturday, 7:00, 7 p.m. Saturday. We're gonna roll out live, and we're gonna do a listening party. So everybody listening, please join us and make comments. Everything's gonna be live. We're gonna go full bore.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're gonna do a rollout for the album. You know, it's like a little EP, 5 songs, man. But I think we'll get more put on Saturday. We'll say that Saturday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So this was our time today. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Ramon, always a pleasure, my man.
Same this way, my brother.
All right, guys. Peace out.